My child, your soulmate made a decision behind your back, and the truth they are hiding could change everything you believed about your connection. You thought the silence meant distance, but there is a hidden reason waiting to be revealed. Someone around this situation knows more than they are saying, and a shocking truth is about to come forward. The choice your soulmate made was not random, and the reason behind it will touch the deepest part of your heart. Listen carefully. Because the moment you understand what happened behind the scenes, you will see your entire love story from a different perspective. There are moments in life when someone you love starts acting differently, when their words become fewer, when their eyes carry emotions they refuse to explain, and when you begin wondering if something has changed forever. You felt the shift before anyone else noticed it. You noticed the small things, the pauses in conversations, the hidden sadness behind their smile, and the way they seemed to carry a secret they were not ready to share with you. But what you did not know was that your soulmate was standing in the middle of a difficult decision. A decision they made quietly, without telling you, because they believed they had to protect something important. They believed that keeping this secret away from you would prevent more pain, more confusion, and more emotional damage. But secrets have a way of coming back when the truth is ready to be revealed. For a long time, you may have questioned your place in their life. You may have wondered why they suddenly became distant, why they stopped expressing everything they once showed so openly, and why it felt like you were fighting for an answer that was hidden somewhere beyond your reach. The truth is, sometimes the person who loves you the most is also the person carrying the heaviest burden in silence. Your soulmate was not only fighting a situation around them, they were fighting their own fears. They were thinking about the future, about the people involved, about the consequences of one choice that could change many lives. They knew that telling you immediately could create a storm before they were ready to handle it. There was a reason behind their decision, and it was connected to something deeper than what you saw on the surface. Someone may have influenced their thoughts, someone may have placed pressure on their heart, or a hidden situation may have forced them to choose between what they wanted and what they believed was right. But the part you never saw was the emotional battle happening inside them. Every time they stayed quiet, they carried the weight of the words they wanted to say. Every time they walked away from a conversation, they remembered the pain in your eyes. Every time they tried to act normal, they were hiding emotions that were becoming harder to control. The world may have made you believe that silence means someone does not care, but sometimes silence comes from a heart that cares too much and does not know how to explain the truth. Your soulmate's decision was not made because you were forgotten. It was made because something inside them was trying to protect a bond they were afraid of losing. Don't skip the moment when the truth finally comes out, because the reason behind this decision reveals a side of your soulmate that you never expected to see. There is a hidden chapter in this story, a chapter where their actions finally make sense and where the unanswered questions begin finding their answers. The day will come when the conversation you have been waiting for finally happens. The things left unsaid will no longer stay hidden. The emotions they tried to control will finally come to the surface, and you will understand why they chose this path. Because sometimes love is tested not when everything is perfect, but when two hearts are forced to face uncertainty, pressure, and unexpected challenges. And this moment was not the end of your story. It was the moment before the truth changed everything, the moment you discover what was happening behind their decision. You will realize that there were many things happening beyond what your eyes could see. There were conversations you never heard, emotions they never expressed, and fears they never had the courage to share. Your soulmate was carrying a battle inside their heart, trying to find a way where nobody would get hurt, but every choice felt impossible. They looked at the situation from every direction. They thought about the past, the present, and the future they wanted to build with you. They remembered the promises, the memories, and the moments when both of you believed that nothing could break the connection you shared. But then something changed, something unexpected entered the picture, and they felt the pressure of making a decision before everything became more complicated. You may have felt like you were left in the dark, like someone you trusted made a choice without considering your feelings. But the hidden truth is that they were not ignoring your heart. They were afraid of breaking it. They believed that if they revealed everything too soon, the situation would become painful before they had the right answer. They wanted to come to you with a solution, not just another problem. There was a moment when they almost told you everything. They had the words ready, they had the courage building inside them, but something stopped them. Maybe it was the fear of losing you, maybe it was the fear of being misunderstood, or maybe it was because they were waiting for the right moment when their actions could prove their intentions. The hardest part about loving someone deeply is sometimes knowing that your actions may be misunderstood before the truth is revealed. Your soulmate knew that from the outside their decision could look like betrayal, distance, or a lack of love. But inside their heart, the reality was different. They were trying to handle something that was bigger than what they showed. Someone around them may have seen the struggle. Someone may have noticed the change in their behavior and understood that something was weighing heavily on their mind. While everyone else only saw the silence, there was a hidden emotional storm happening behind it. And now the truth is moving closer. The secret that created confusion is slowly losing its power. The things that were hidden are preparing to come into the light. The same person who stayed quiet will eventually have to explain why they made that decision, and when they do, you will understand that every moment of silence had a story behind it. Don't skip the signs that come before the reveal, because sometimes the smallest details show what someone is truly feeling. The way they look at you, the way they try to stay connected even when they are distant, and the way they protect your name when others question the relationship can reveal more than words. Your soulmate may have made a decision without telling you, but their heart never stopped thinking about you. They were still connected to the memories, the dreams, and the future they imagined with you. The decision was not about walking away from love. It was about trying to protect something they considered valuable. But every hidden truth eventually reaches a moment where it can no longer stay hidden. A conversation is coming where everything that was confusing will start making sense. The reasons, the emotions, and the sacrifices behind this choice will finally be understood. And when you hear the real reason, you may realize that the person you thought was creating distance was actually fighting a battle just to keep the connection alive. Sometimes people do not know how to express love during difficult times. Sometimes they show love through choices that others cannot understand until the full story is revealed. This chapter of your journey is not about the secret itself. It is about what happens after the truth arrives. Because when two people truly value each other, even the hardest moments can become the beginning of a stronger bond. The decision they made changed something, but the reason behind it will reveal how deeply this connection affected them. The truth that has been hidden for so long is not just about one decision, it is about everything your soulmate was feeling while making that choice. There was a moment when they had to choose between speaking immediately and waiting for the right time. They knew that one conversation could change the way you saw them forever, and that fear stayed in their heart every single day. They remembered the moments when you stood beside them when others walked away. They remembered the way you understood their silence even when they could not explain their pain. They remembered every promise, every dream, and every small moment that made this connection feel different from anything they had experienced before. That is why the decision was so difficult. It was not a simple choice. It involved emotions, sacrifices, and a future they did not want to lose. But there was another side of the story that you never saw. While you were wondering why they changed, they were wondering how to protect what both of you had built. They were afraid that telling you the truth at the wrong time would create a misunderstanding that could push both of you apart. They thought they were buying time, but they never realized that the silence itself was creating pain. There were people around this situation who had their own opinions. Some people judged without knowing the complete story. Some people only saw what was happening on the surface and believed they understood everything. But they never saw the private moments, the emotional struggles, and the difficult choices that happened away from everyone's eyes. Your soulmate had a reason for keeping this from you, and that reason connects to something they deeply cared about. They were trying to handle a situation that involved more than just emotions. They were thinking about consequences, about how their decision would affect everyone involved, and about how to move forward without destroying something precious. The biggest surprise is that the person who seemed distant may have been fighting harder than anyone realized. They may have been carrying the pressure alone because they did not want you to carry the same weight. They wanted to protect your peace, even if their silence created confusion. There is a moment in every connection when hidden feelings can no longer stay hidden. A moment when someone finally understands that avoiding the truth creates more pain than sharing it. That moment is approaching, and when it happens, the words they have been holding back will finally come out. Don't skip the moment when they explain everything, because the reason behind their decision will show you a side of them you never expected. You may discover that the person you thought was moving away was actually trying to find a way back to you. You may realize that the silence was not empty, it was filled with thoughts, worries, and emotions they were struggling to express. Sometimes people make choices that look wrong from the outside because nobody sees the battle happening inside their heart. They see the action, but they do not see the fear behind it. They see the distance, but they do not see the reason someone created that distance. And when your soulmate finally opens their heart, you will understand that this story was never only about a decision. It was about two people connected by emotions that were tested through uncertainty, pressure, and unexpected challenges. The truth they reveal will not erase the difficult moments, but it will explain why those moments happened. The future of this connection depends on what happens after the truth is known. Because once everything is revealed, both hearts will have a chance to speak honestly, without fear, without secrets, and without pretending everything is fine. The chapter of confusion begins to close, and the chapter of understanding begins. The decision they made changed the path, but the reason behind it reveals something deeper. It reveals that even when love becomes complicated, the feelings behind it can remain stronger than the challenges trying to break it. And when the final truth comes forward, you will finally understand why they chose this path and why they believed it was the only way forward. The moment everything comes into the open, you will finally see the difference between what happened and what you believed happened. For so long, your mind created questions because you only had pieces of the story. You saw the silence, the distance, and the changes, but you never saw the emotions behind those moments. You never saw the nights when your soulmate thought about what to say, how to explain, and how to fix something they never wanted to damage. The decision they made was connected to a deeper fear, a fear of losing something meaningful. They knew that once the truth came out, things could never go back to the way they were before. That is why they waited. They were trying to find the perfect words, the perfect moment, and the perfect way to explain everything without causing more pain. But sometimes waiting creates more questions than answers, and that is what happened between two hearts that still cared deeply. There was a part of them that wanted to run toward you and tell you everything immediately. They wanted to stop pretending that everything was normal. They wanted to admit what they were feeling and finally release the burden they had been carrying. But another part of them was afraid. Afraid that you would only see the mistake and not the reason behind it. Afraid that one decision would erase all the love, memories, and loyalty that existed before this moment. The truth is, your soulmate was not only making a decision about the present. They were thinking about the future. They were thinking about what would happen months or years from now, and they were trying to choose a path that could protect the connection instead of destroying it. They may have made mistakes in the way they handled it, but their heart was still connected to the bond they shared with you. There were moments when they wanted to reach out, moments when they looked at old memories, remembered conversations, and felt the weight of everything left unsaid. They remembered the way you supported them, the way you believed in them, and the way you made them feel understood when the world around them felt confusing. But every story has a moment when hidden emotions finally rise to the surface. A moment when pretending becomes impossible. A moment when the truth becomes stronger than fear. And that moment brings a conversation where everything that was unclear starts becoming clear. Don't skip the signs of change, because before someone reveals their heart, their actions often speak first. The effort they make, the way they try to reconnect, and the way they start opening up again can show that something inside them has shifted. They may not have all the perfect words, but their actions can reveal what their heart has been trying to say. You will understand that the biggest surprise was not the decision itself. The biggest surprise was discovering why they made it. You may have thought they were choosing something against you, but the truth may reveal that they were struggling with a situation where every choice had a consequence. Sometimes love is tested in moments where there are no easy answers. Sometimes two people who care about each other still have to face misunderstandings, pressure, and situations they never expected. But what makes a connection stronger is not the absence of challenges. It is the ability to face the truth after the storm. Your soulmate's hidden decision became a lesson about communication, trust, and the importance of being honest with the person who matters most. The secret that created distance also created a chance for both hearts to understand each other in a deeper way. When the final truth is revealed, you will not only learn what happened. You will learn what was happening inside their heart during all those moments when you felt alone. You will discover the emotions they tried to hide, the fears they never spoke about, and the reason they believed this choice was necessary. And maybe the most powerful realization will be this: the connection was never only built on perfect moments. It was built on the ability to find each other again after difficult moments. It was built on understanding, forgiveness, and the willingness to listen when the truth finally arrives. The decision they made changed the direction of the story, but it also revealed something important. It revealed how much one choice can carry when someone is trying to protect something they truly value. And when both hearts finally stand in the same place, the confusion begins to disappear, the pain begins to heal, and the truth becomes the bridge that brings them closer again.